Another quarterback in a similar circumstance where it feels like this is it. And I think there's a greater sense in Tennessee that this is it for Ryan Tannehill because they did get one of the first-round quarterbacks, one who slid out of round one just by 2 picks. The Titans were trying to get back into round one. They would have taken him possibly at number 11 if Peter Skoronski hadn't fallen into their laps. Ryan Tannehill is there while Will Levis gets ready to take over. Tannehill asked yesterday what he thinks of the addition of Will Levis to the Tennessee Titans.
What do you think of the addition of Will Levis?
Yeah, hopefully he adds to the room. Obviously, a talented guy, coming off a great college career. So, we'll see when I get to meet him here in a few weeks.
Is he good?
Or next week, I don't even know exactly when. We've been down this road before, so it's definitely a little bit of deja vu. But like I said, Mike and Rand make those decisions. My job is to go out and try to win a football game. And every time I go out there and prep, whether it's in an OTAs or week 15, getting ready to go win a game. You want to have a process about how you go about things. Take your job seriously each and every day, knowing that nothing's given to you and got to go out there and earn everything. So, that process doesn't change.
Speaking of guys getting jacked, what's with all these quarterbacks getting the Takeo Spikes neck now? Trevor Lawrence has it. Ryan Tannehill has it. He never had that. He wasn't pencil necked, but he's got the Takeo Spikes tree trunk neck now. Where'd that come from?
You want guys to be durable, right? It starts up here. I don't know. I was reading something about F1 drivers, and they really have to train their necks basically, so because their helmets are so heavy, right? And they're, sometimes when they porpoise, they go up and down, and whatever. You got to make sure your neck is right. So maybe Tua Tagovailoa should be doing some of that. I don't know. I don't even know how you train your neck. Shrugs, whatever. I don't know, but I think that might have something to do with it. You got to make sure your neck is all right.
Mandalorian workout. Wear your helmet all the time. Never take it off. That's a way to do it for F1, for NFL, for everybody who's trying to strengthen their neck. But he's doing something. He's doing something with that neck. And there are several quarterbacks who are sprouting this giant neck. And, hey, that is one of the realities. What's Tua Tagovailoa trying to avoid? His head snapping back and striking the turf. You get those kind of neck muscles, that head's not moving when you get thrown around. And you're not getting thrown around. You're that big, you're built like that, you're not getting thrown around by defensive linemen. You're not getting shoved to the ground. You're doing the shoving of people to the ground. And Ryan Tannehill has been very good for the Titans. Comeback player of the year in 2019, although Shereen Williams had a very strong opinion on that. What's he coming back from? Coming back from sucking is not good enough. That's her opinion, not mine, but she felt very strongly about that. But he was comeback player of the year. He was a steal in a trade that brought him from Miami. Miami paid part of his salary, for crying out loud. And I remember Sims, he pegged it right away. Mariota's out and Tannehill's in, because it wasn't quite as clear at the time, because Mariota was still second overall pick, 4th year of his career. Mariota's the guy. And the moment they got Tannehill, Sims was like, I think it's going to be Tannehill. And it has been. But now it just feels like it's ending. It feels like this is it for Tannehill. And this year's about getting Will Levis ready. Next year, Levis is the guy. And Tannehill's going to go play somewhere else, maybe Minnesota.
I don't know how much better that makes the Vikings.
I'm kidding, I hope.
Swapping. Well, it's just
I'm kidding, I hope.
Swapping. I hate to say this about Ryan Tannehill because I think he's better than this, but it's kind of like swapping the deck chairs in the Titanic, right? What are we really doing? What are we talking about here? I feel like, similarly to Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill's probably taken the Titans about as far as he can. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, Ryan Tannehill really was a revelation in 2019. I mean, there is an argument to be made that he was a really good MVP candidate just based on the way he came in there, settled everything down with that offense, and then ended up taking them to the 2019 AFC Championship game. Now, they got up to nothing, and then Patrick Mahomes did Patrick Mahomes things, and the Mahomes Chiefs end up winning that Super Bowl, which is one of those weird things that was talked about. I think McCourty was saying that in the draft, like trying to rewrite history. Don't know what the hell that was about, but regardless, Tannehill now has 1 year to basically say, hey man, I can still do this. I can still be a good quarterback. Got a new offensive coordinator there in Tim Kelly. They're going to do some things differently, but that offense is still going to run through Derrick Henry. And if Derrick Henry is healthy, then that's a good thing. But the other problem with the Titans is, Mike, I don't know who they have that scares you as a defensive coordinator aside from Derrick Henry. Because Treylon Burks, I mean, he was okay. Showed maybe a couple of flashes. Wasn't all that healthy last year. Nick Westbrook-Akine, I think that's their second best receiver. So it's not going to be the easiest year for Ryan Tannehill to prove he is still that guy.
Horrible spot for Treylon Burks last year, too. They trade A.J. Brown. The pick they get for
Yes.
Brown, they use on a new receiver. The whole idea of the draft is you want a winning lottery ticket, and it's a bizarro lottery because when you get a winning lottery ticket, what it means is eventually you're the one that has to pay out the jackpot to the player. But that's how it goes. You get a great player through the draft. You find a way to keep him. You don't trade him in for a new lottery ticket and hope you get another winner because at some point you got to pay somebody. You can't just keep swapping out winning tickets for fresh tickets and hoping to keep getting winners. It puts a ton of pressure on the kid, and that's what I feel bad about. And also with Tannehill, think about 2021. Number 1 seed in an ultra-competitive AFC. 3 interception meltdown in the divisional round against the Bengals, and I feel like he still hasn't gotten over that. And I feel bad for him. He was very candid, very raw last year about his feelings about this same time when he's at the offseason workouts, speaking very openly about what he went through. We care about the mental health of pro athletes now, at least we say we do. That's part of it, how you get over these horrible games. But you're right. It's like Kirk Cousins. It's like Alex Smith in Kansas City.
Yes.
Quarterback has taken the franchise as far as he can. And the sooner you recognize that and plan for the next level, the better off you're going to be. The Chiefs pulled it off, obviously. Titans trying to pull it off now. Vikings kicking the can and hoping. I just feel like the Vikings are sitting around and hoping and waiting that there's some bolt from the blue that solves their problem at quarterback. And the reality is, it just doesn't happen. The great quarterbacks are too few and far between. Fran Tarkenton's not walking through that door. Mahomes isn't walking through that door. Josh Allen's not walking through that door. None of the great quarterbacks are just going to show up. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, none of them. You got to go find somebody. You got to get your own lottery ticket, and you got to hope that when you scratch it off, it's a winner. And having the infrastructure of Kevin O'Connell helps. But anyway, back to me. We should be talking about the Titans. The Titans.
We were
will be
done
pivoting to Will
talking about
Levis.
the Vikings.
They have their guy. I know. I'm still tormented. Allow me to be tormented. But the Titans fans should not be tormented. Look, they're getting a new stadium. They got a new quarterback, and they've dipped. They went from number 1 seed to out of the playoffs altogether, but they're in a position where even though the conference is very difficult right now, maybe they get one last solid year from Tannehill, lay the foundation for Will Levis next year. That's the best you could hope for if you're a Titans fan. But the good news is, hey, we're getting a swanky new stadium, so we can be distracted by that during this time of rebuilding, remodeling, reloading, re-whatevering.
Yeah. I think right now, if you're the Titans, you just want to win a playoff game. They haven't won a playoff game since that 2019 run. So that, to me, says a lot. I mean, they had a bye and they lost to the Ravens. Then they were the number 1 seed, as you just alluded to. And then they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in that game when, as you said, Ryan Tannehill kind of had a meltdown there. So look, I mean, I think it's interesting what you can have happen with somebody who is like Ryan Tannehill. He's 34. He's going to turn 35 in July. He's obviously on the back 9 of his career. And when it goes for quarterbacks kind of in their mid to upper 30s, it can go quickly. I mean, think about what happened with Matt Ryan last year. My gosh, it's not something that I ever want to see again, right? For Matt Ryan's sake, like let's let him be in effective retirement, even if he doesn't say it. So I just, they need that last hurrah with Ryan Tannehill.
You worked really hard there to not say they need to send him to the glue factory. You really restrained yourself. I admire the restraint in not making the comment about sending Ryan Tannehill to the glue factory like they sent Matt Ryan last year. Well done.
Because I don't think that yet about Ryan Tannehill. I still think that there is some ability there with Ryan Tannehill where it just clearly was not there after 2 to 3 weeks with Matt Ryan last year with the Indianapolis Colts. They should have gone to Nick Foles way before they went to Sam Ellinger, but neither here nor there with the subject that we're supposed to be talking about. So whenever you talk about a guy coming in there like a Will Levis, you are maybe going to see him late in the year. And so the only way to not have that happen is for Ryan Tannehill to play at his best. And we'll have to see if that happens based on what is around him and also based on if that Tennessee defense is going to be any good or not. But the good thing is it's coached by Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel teams always seem to be playing above where we think that they should be playing because Mike Vrabel's that good of a coach.
Yeah, and the key now is hopefully the general manager, Rand Carthon, and Mike Vrabel are on the same page, unlike John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. The Malik Willis experiment from last year. Ryan Tannehill said deja vu all over again. Last year, they brought in Malik Willis. There was a thought, hey, he's the guy that is going to be the future for the Titans. And when he finally got a chance to play, Mike Vrabel quickly decided, no thank you. I'll take Josh Dobbs, the journeyman who's bounced all over the place. I'll put him on the field for a couple of key late-season games that will determine whether or not we make it to the postseason. That was the biggest indictment they could have had of Malik Willis. I think it's just a matter of time before he's not with the Titans. Unless they just keep him around as an emergency option. He's on a slotted rookie contract. They paid him his signing bonus. He's getting minimum salaries. Keep him there as the third guy because you never know when you're going to need that third guy. And maybe he does develop. That's the thing about rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks who come in with expectations. You don't get many opportunities before you can get cast aside. And maybe he's a guy who can develop into something. And, hey, best case scenarios, they flip him for a draft pick somewhere else if he can show something in an opportunity that may arise if somebody's injured and Will Levis isn't ready, or if Will Levis is the one who gets injured when he's the starter next year if Willis is still on the team. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.